Hello, ho, ho, and welcome to A Review for Christmas. My name is Ariel.
And I'm Chelsea.
And we are talking about the ultimate Christmas movie of the season. This is like the big deal Christmas movie.
This does feel like it's the big deal.
2024. And it's the big deal final episode of our season.
It is.
You know, I mean, well, we do have the bonus episode and tears.
I know.
We have Men I Would Marry in 10 Days coming up, but that's going to be...
keep an eye out for that in January. Or February.
Yeah, I kind of love that we're finishing it with this movie.
Me too.
This blockbuster hit.
I mean, I've got some theories.
Theories?
On Lacey Chabert.
Oh, we could talk about Lacey Chabert. I have some, I don't know what you have theories on, but I have theories on Lacey Chabert. But actually, we can get straight into it. So we're doing, this is Hot Frosty. Did I say the name? It's Hot Frosty?
Yes, you said Hot Frosty.
It's also, get ready for it, Mon Bel Homme de Neige, which is the French, because my Netflix is in French.
I know.
So don't make fun of me that I butchered that. Don't make fun of me. I thought it...
Prettier name.
My guess was that it meant my good man of snow. I was wrong. It means my handsome man of snow. So enjoy that. Let's talk about the characters really quickly. Our main woman is Kathy, played by Lacey Chabert, which you will know from Mean Girls or Hallmark. Yep, and the big controversy that I thought of was why in the heck is Lacey in a Netflix movie? But it could be, I couldn't get confirmation, but it could be because there's like, I think there's a lawsuit, but one of the Hallmark CEOs said that Lacey and this other other actress were like old, and they were a little old and they needed new people and like new talent. And so it was like, oh, Lacey's too old to be on Hallmark, which, have you looked at Lacey Chabert?
Stunning.
She's in her 40s, but I would never think she's in her 40s.
No, and I think for me, it's not even age, it is repetition.
Yeah.
It is nice to see actors I've never seen. So I can understand that, but just call her
old. And I wonder
is
if
rude.
Maybe contextually she meant old as in she's been in everything and we need new faces. But I wouldn't use that word. I don't even think, when was the controversy with what's her name? I felt like Lacey was
with the
behind
Danielle.
DJ from Full House.
Yeah. Well, DJ's was more about...
No, but I felt like when Candace Cameron Bure.
Yeah.
When Candace Cameron
Not
Bure...
DJ.
I felt like when she left Hallmark, Lacey really went to the forefront.
Yes.
That was only 2 years ago.
Yeah, I agree.
I didn't get it. Also, I was reading a Reddit thread, and they're like, she's the only reason I show up. So many people are like, Lacey Chabert is the only reason I watch Hallmark.
Oh, that's sweet.
So what's your theory on, just give us that commentary. I love you, please.
This is, of the recent movies we've watched her in, some of her best acting work, in my opinion.
Really?
I thought so. And it made me wonder if Netflix directors maybe actually direct, whereas Hallmark directors just show up and sit in a chair.
I wonder how long she had access to this script.
That's a good point,
Did she get it for more than 4 weeks? How long?
Probably. Netflix has buku bucks to spend, and they don't care about throwing it around unless they want to cancel something.
I did think it was what?
They cancel stuff. It's ridiculous. Good shows get canceled.
Like what?
The Santa Clarita Diet got canceled after season 3, and it had a good following.
Interesting.
They canceled the show called Chaos that people were obsessed with. So I don't know. Some of her line delivery was so spot on for me that I was like.
There was times where she was just Lacey to me, and I went, okay. But there was some good lines that she had, and I did enjoy myself.
I think that's hard, too, because she has been in so much, and she is so recognizable, that sometimes I do have a hard time giving her just a character and not being so focused on who she is.
I can agree.
Yeah.
But if I enjoyed her acting style more, I don't know if it would matter.
That's fair.
You know, I think Lacey can just fall flat for me if she was an actor or an actress that I really liked, then I think I'd be okay just seeing her over and over and over.
Yeah, I can agree.
But no shade,
None.
That's fine. Also, I'm very curious what we'll see next year, because does this mean Lindsay Lohan is now Lacey Chabert is mean girling Lindsay Lohan out of her spot as Netflix's Christmas baby?
I mean,
or are they
Netflix also
share?
did a Lindsay Lohan Christmas movie.
That's why I said I was like, now this is the Christmas movie of the
I
season.
agree.
And I think
Our Little
they
Secret
knew it
was good, but this was
I
better.
think they knew that this was going to get more attention. I mean,
Yeah.
look at the name they give it.
I hate the name.
I'm going to talk about the name. We'll get into that. Anyway, let's talk about Jack the Snowman, played by Dustin Milligan. What's he from?
Schitt's Creek.
There we go.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
He is Dr. Ted.
Dr. Ted.
He's a veterinarian, but that's still a doctor. He's Ted.
Yep, cool. I figured you would know his main credit. And
good.
there are 4 actors in this that I specifically included. You're nodding, and I'm not sure if they are all because 2 of them are women who I was like, one of them, I don't even know who she is. She just looks familiar to me.
Okay.
So first, biggest, easiest recognizable name in my opinion, Craig Robinson.
Yes.
We're talking The Office. We're talking Judd Apatow movies. He's just one of those movie comedians who, yes, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He's just, you know him. If you watch comedy in this modern era, you know Craig Robinson. Mm-hmm. He is reliable. And then we have Joe Latrugio, who is also Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yep.
Another actor where you see him and you go, oh, it's you.
Yeah. Charles Boyle is his character in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and he is so good.
He's really funny.
He's so funny.
Yeah.
He was so funny for me in this.
Yes, he was so funny for me in this.
Yeah.
Like, I liked Craig Robinson, but I really liked Joe Latrugio in this.
I think that was by design.
No, I know he was supposed to be likable, but I liked his delivery, and I liked there was moments where he was just everything for me. We'll get into it. Then there's 2 women that I wanted to point out. One is Lauren Holly. She was originally in Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, okay.
And I know her from NCIS.
Okay.
But she plays the older woman with the big glasses who drives by when he's fixing the roof. Yeah.
Okay.
She's very funny.
IMDb photo.
She looks a lot younger.
So much younger.
I did not know. So
actually, that might just be good camera work and editing, because she looks about the same. Okay.
Well, so it was funny because I knew she was going to be in this movie because I did my credit notes before I started watching. And then she was in it and I went, who was she? I didn't even realize it was her, but I'm also, NCIS was a while ago. So I'm also used to young her.
Yep.
The other one is Katie Mixon-Greer. Now, I do not know where I know Katie Mixon-Greer at all. I don't know her, but she plays the doctor.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, you, I love you. And I'm like, who is you? I don't know you, but I could tell you she was in Mike and Molly, she was in Eastbound and Down, and she was the lead of the show American Housewife. Again, I don't know why I know this woman, but she made me happy. And so I included her.
I really liked her.
Yeah, I
she
really,
was
really
very funny.
Enjoyed her. So that is our intro cast roll opening credits. Let's get into the movie. We swoop our way into this movie with a hat that is floating through the air and landing on top of a snowman. And as the hat is blowing around, our narrator tells us that for decades we've had stories of snowmen coming to life and bringing magic to the right person. And with a gust of wind, the hat falls into the street and gets run over by a car. Because those fairy tales haven't been told like this before. Roll title, Hot Frosty.
I wrote in all caps, spin on a classic, baby.
This helped me so much in understanding this movie. Because when it came out and it was called Hot Frosty, I went, what on earth is going on?
I know.
But then they did this and I went, oh, they know it's stupid.
Yes.
Oh,
it's
good.
It's purposefully stupid.
And I knew it had Craig Robinson, but I kind of looked at it like how Kristen Chenoweth gets put in things, and it's like, okay, fine, Kristen Chenoweth's in this to throw in some jokes. I didn't take it as this was going to be a tonal, the tone of the movie. Yeah. And so when they did this, I went, perfect.
Yeah, it was, I would say, knowingly campy.
Exactly. They knew.
On purpose
I think they went, okay, this is a dumb concept.
Yep.
But it's going to be really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was much happier with the name Hot Frosty after that.
Yeah.
So we officially begin the movie meeting our main character, Kathy.
Yes.
Kathy,
with a K.
Kathy with a K. Yep. Subtitles,
I
baby.
put it with a C at first
Oh,
because I
really?
had only seen it. Like I heard them say her name, and it wasn't until I saw her name tag.
Oh,
that I
name
saw-
tags is
yep.
Kathy? Yeah, subtitles. So Kathy is in bed. Her alarm clock goes off. She does that like classic smack your alarm. The radio goes on. The radio lady is like, there's going to be a snow sculpture contest in town today.
Check
and
it
we're
out.
like, man, what's that going to be about? But Kathy does not care because Kathy is very cold. Her house is very cold, and she does the like classic, you're so cold, you get dressed under the blanket. And I was like, well, that's relatable. As someone who lives in Chicago, I feel that in my core.
In your bones.
Yeah.
I think her house might be the perfect temperature for a snowman husband. What do you think?
I wonder if that's going to mean anything. I wonder if having a cold house is important. Good catch, good catch.
Thank you. I was keeping an eye out.
So Kathy goes through her morning routine, and we see that her house is falling apart, okay?
Yeah.
She walks down the stairs. There's a hole in the stair, which you know what I thought of? Someone had to make that hole. Someone had to step and make the punch hole in that stair.
Yeah.
Because how on earth would there be just a gaping, divot?
No, it's like probably termites or foundation,
Yeah.
and so you're right.
Someone must have stepped through it.
Probably her.
And as someone who has stepped through a ceiling before, ouch.
Yeah.
That sucks. So sorry. Especially on the stairs too. You think you're going and then you're down.
Straight down.
So there's a hole in her staircase. She has this bucket that's catching a leak in the roof. She pours that onto the sink. It's very full. And she needs to call a repairman to fix the heat. And as she heads out her front door in a very light jacket for someone who's so cold, but that's like a hallmark. They put them in these like brightly colored wool jackets,
peacoats, trenches.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, it's hard to be sexy when you're wearing like my winter. Actually, that
But
one's
you
kind
know
of
what?
cute. But
I beg to differ because on Pinterest, they love giving me winter gear with these chicks wearing full-on puffers. They're like
That's
how to
true.
dress cute in the winter, and then they put on layer 1 and layer 2 and layer 3 and layer 4 and layer hoodie and then a scarf and then a big puffer. And I'm like, who's even seeing what you're wearing?
how can your snowman boyfriend undress you? It's too many layers.
You shouldn't be doing that anyway. But as she heads out the door, we see a picture of her and a man. Now, I honestly shouldn't have gotten thrown off, but I was like, who's this man? Like, I was like, she's not supposed to have an ex. Why? Why did I think she's not supposed to have an ex? That's dumb.
So this is where I had read the description, and it
Oh,
said
so you
young
knew.
widow,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
I didn't know.
I thought the photo was very badly done. That's it. Not good Photoshop.
So I gotta say, like, I really do. I like the jokey vibe of this movie, and when we get to, it allows me to give it room for things where I'm like, this is stupid, not stupid. It's cheesy. It's
corny. It's hokey.
It's hokey. It's a Christmas movie. Yes,
Yeah.
camp. So like, what I'm referring to is that she goes to her diner, Kathy's kitchen, in Hope Springs. By the way, it is in the town center, and the sculpture competition is right out her front door.
yeah.
What's going to happen with that?
It was very picturesque, small
yeah.
town.
And to add to the picturesque small town, she like goes in. She has that chef who's kind of like her dad character. Like, how are you doing, honey? And he's like, is your heat on? And she's like, I'm doing fine. You know?
Yep.
Found a man yet.
I just wrote, she runs a restaurant, duh.
And everyone knows her, and they're all like, Kathy, my favorite customers. Chocolate chip pancakes aren't on the menu, but I'll make them for you.
I wrote, Miss Kathy is the best.
Exactly. So I'm glad that I was in the vibe for that. And this is such a small town that she's even going to take lunch over to the owners of the thrift shop. Why? I don't know, but she's like, I like the owners of the thrift shop. I'm going to bring them sandwiches. Yep. And the owners are Mel and Theo, a very friendly older couple.
They're cute.
They are very cute. And the shop owner, Mel, wants to know, like, how you doing? And she says,
nosy people.
She's good and busy. And Mel's like, yeah, but what about outside of work? And she says, outside of work is Fine. So we know something's up. Something's going on with Kathy. Us who don't know that she's a widow is like, wow, what's wrong with Kathy? I've also, by this point, completely forgotten that there was a man involved. I wrote it in my notes.
It was such a blip that I couldn't blame you.
It was over. But Mel says to her that she needs to get out more. And she'll never find the warmth unless she ventures out into the cold.
I wrote that down.
Dear Lord. What a line. And then Mel goes into telling this story that she was lonely and then she decided to put on her favorite red scarf and go down to the local pub. Pub? Okay. But go down to the local pub. And then she met the man of her dreams. Oh, we're bringing the glockenspiel.
The red scarf just felt a little Taylor Swift coated.
Okay, that's last episode.
I know.
Chelsea.
I'm sorry. That's the last time I'm going to talk about it.
Inappropriate use of glockenspiel.
Fly on the plane.
Football. Watch the last episode, guys. It's a doozy.
It's so good.
Luckily for Kathy with a K, someone just dropped off a red scarf for her. Mm-hmm. Well, not for Mel, but they dropped off a red scarf at the thrift shop, and Mel is like, here you go, have the red scarf.
It did look really cozy.
It was a long scarf.
Long.
Well, it needed to be long. They had to attach it. Okay, we'll get back into that. But Mel and Theo knew that it was a good reason for that scarf to come in. It's like they know it's magic.
I feel like
okay, Santa.
Yeah, Theo's Santa.
The next thing we see, it's nighttime. Kathy's walking through the snow sculpture contest. Nobody's there, but she's walking through. And I just want to say that this soundtrack slaps.
Yes.
Oh my God. I put the song that's on this scene on my everyday playlist. I was like, this bangs. Now, I put a lot of things on my everyday playlist and leave it for later to vet it, but it's a banger.
Look, I have no complaints.
Anyway, back to Kathy. Kathy's a sad girl. She's just, things are not good. She's a widow. Things are not great for Kathy. And she walks up to this this statue, this sculpture makes me think of Birth of Venus, like woman on the half shell. Mm-hmm. Like he's this like Adonis half naked man, but they don't do like his crotch area,
right?
So he's just kind of like coming out of the snow, and I'm like, who did this? Who was like, I'm gonna craft a fully accurate man?
The snow nips were crazy.
I didn't see that.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait to watch that during editing.
You gotta put them in. You gotta put in the snow nips.
I will add in the snow nibs.
And they're men's, so you don't have to censor them.
Yeah, good. I don't need to put little
jingle bells.
By the way, the two snowmen next to him are normal snowmen, which is even funnier.
It's so funny.
That means that our little like, what's the word for it? Oh, I can't think of it. But it's like the kind of person who like exposes themselves in public. Like it's an exhibitionist. It's something like that. The person who was amongst all these wholesome snow sculptures, like I'm crafting a fully
like
accurate.
Some voyeurism stuff.
Voyeurism was like the word I was thinking of. Like they're sculpting abs, and everyone else is making like
carrot.
Yeah, exactly. Like pandas, Like, and he's like nipples,
putting in abs, washboard, and then just a pile so that we don't have to
go any further. Yeah, was he going to finish it tomorrow? Why do we think it's a man? Does it make it more comfortable that it's a man?
I mean, there is no soft curvature to that snowman.
No, I meant the sculptor.
Oh, that's a really good point. It's probably one of the horny women in town.
It's probably.
Those women were horny.
Those women
horny
who were
women.
like nothing to do. We'll get back to the women. Anyway, she also notices the two snowmen on the side. They both have scarves.
Yeah.
And Adonis does not have a scarf. So she takes her scarf, puts it on him, and then takes a picture of him, I don't know, for good times. Got a flag.
The idea that like you're gifted a piece of clothing and just immediately put it on some strange snowman in a competition is bonkers.
It shows you how much she really did not want that scarf, and it was a gift she didn't ask for.
That's a good point.
Okay, puberty. So mystical chimes play, and little Lacey Chabert gets that curious face that she makes sometimes when something interesting is happening.
There's a twinkle.
Yeah. Me or Lacey?
The snowman.
The snowman. Yes, the snowman's twinkling.
Do you want to build a snowman?
Oh. Anyway, after Kathy leaves, we go back to the snowman, and they like hover on his crotch, just like a hair too long. Like they like do the zoom up so you can get, see the transformation, but they start on the lower half of his body. And I'm like, why did you start on the lower half?
Why not?
Okay.
Again, some of this was horny.
So, it was hot.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Yeah. No,
Hot Frosty,
a
am I
little
right?
bit of this movie is horny.
Yes.
That's what the caption's going to say. Oh, God.
No, I don't think
No,
so.
I don't think so. YouTube will say, never mind, and we'll never get anyone to watch it.
Demonetized.
More importantly, magic swirls around him, and he becomes very alive and very naked, and his lips are very red, which I thought was odd.
And I actually wrote, it's giving Edward Cullen. Because he was like...
I call him Edward Cullen later. Oh, my God.
I also referred to the scene as scarf magic.
I loved also that they had to absolutely attach his scarf to his crotch. He like bends forward at one point, and it does not bend with him like the rest.
The fabric just stays firmly in place. I wrote, movie magic.
So of course, you're new to the world, you're freshly born. What are you going to do? You're going to go explore. Hi. So he goes exploring the town, and he sees a billboard of people in a winter wear, and they're wearing scarves, and he wants to be like them. So he flips his scarf over his shoulder, fully exposing himself, which we know what that means. That means someone's got to find him. Yep. And the people who find him are the two old people walking their dog. They are very surprised. He is very surprised. The old man doesn't have very good eyesight, but the old woman is very interested in this man.
She likes what she sees.
So she runs after, they both run after him. And I do not know how this happens. I know he runs up, he sees the thrift store, his newborn babe brain somehow knows clothes are in there. He runs up and then somehow gets twisted up and falls full on backwards through the pane of glass.
I assume it's the scarf because it's long and he's running.
Okay, thank you.
I also, suddenly the glass was just broken. And I was like, oh.
And my whole body went, because he went through full glass.
And he's fine.
And I went, oh, so Frosty magic, he's fine.
Frosty magic, non-human magic.
Okay, fine. But so he goes to the store and he picks out a maintenance onesie.
Missing its arms.
Yeah, like if someone was like, oh, it's really cool to cut off the shoulders, farmer's tan. And it says Jack on it. And it says his jumpsuit. So he goes to the jumpsuit and a pair of...
galoshes.
Did they say galoshes?
Do.
Because in my head I said galoshes and I went, those aren't galoshes.
It's
those
galoshes.
are snow boots. I thought galoshes were rain boots.
I'm pretty sure they are.
Excuse me while I Google. Galoshes. An overshoe or rubber boot that's put over shoes. So that would not be a galoshes. That's not a galosh. The next morning, we're not with Jack anymore. We're with Kathy with a K. And I can't get it out of my head. Once we get a nickname, I can't get it out. So Kathy goes through her morning routine. She's cold. She steps over the hole in the stairs. She dumps out the bucket of water. She goes to work. Except this time, there's a man in the sculpture contest. I keep calling it a sculpture garden. Is it a sculpture garden?
I mean,
contextually,
for all intents and purposes, sure.
So there's a man in the sculpture garden.
Amongst the snow sculptures.
There we go. And he is ranting and raving to these sculptures. He's very excited. My immediate thought was this man would be arrested by now. I understand why he's not arrested now that I've watched the movie, but nobody looked out their window and went, arrested. But no. We wouldn't have a movie if she didn't walk up to find out, because that's what you do. You approach a man talking to the snowman. I was like, I would have gone inside. I would have
called the sheriff, maybe.
I would have walked inside, watched him from the window while I called the sheriff. I would not approach him. Now, she does later say that she doesn't think he's dangerous.
Right.
But okay. The great part is that he knows her. He's like, it's you. And she's like, what are you talking about? And he knows also that he was made of snow, and now he's not made of snow, which I really liked.
Me too.
I really liked that he was aware that he's a snowman, and we didn't play I just woke up here.
Who am I?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and he was like, you put the scarf on me, and then like now I'm here and doing things. But the ranting and raving he was doing to the snowmen was trying to explain to them that they could probably come to life too because he did it. It was so funny. I was crying laughing.
He's precious. So what do you do when you have a man ranting and raving to himself? Bring him inside, give him some food. Trust him wholeheartedly. By the way, this gives me major Night Before Christmas vibes.
That's what, and yeah, I had said that to you when I was like, we should do this.
Yes.
I think it's gonna be like the night before Christmas.
Yep, exactly, and it's spot on.
Though I liked this more because of some of the, I'm aware that I'm a snowman and I'm aware that I don't know anything.
Yep, and I'll bring that up when we go into ratings and we talk about like the plot. That is one thing that I gave them credit for was the self-awareness. So back in the diner, Chef Isaac wants to know who this man is. Good job, Chef Isaac.
Thank you.
Good looking out. He does not understand why she brought him inside. And she explains.
Does anyone understand?
Does anyone get it? Well, she's like, he's not dangerous. And Chef Isaac wants to call the sheriff, but Kathy's like, no, dude, the sheriff overacts to everything.
Which is fair.
I mean, I did not know what was coming.
Nope.
No.
I mean, neither did I.
I did not know. I thought we were just going to laugh and enjoy Snowman Jack eating his jelly at the bar. I did not know we were in for a bigger treat than that. Speaking of, let's go to the thrift shop where the sheriff...
What?
The sheriff, who is Craig Robinson.
Yep, he plays the sheriff.
With his deputy, Joe Latrugio. Perfect casting. I was yelling. I was like, yes, thank you. Yeah. This is exactly who they should be playing.
Yep.
They're showing up to investigate the snatch and grab or the something. They use fun words for it. And these characters are nuts, dude. Like, I was watching, they have the blooper reel at the end. And so I thought it was really cool because I'm like, so a lot of Craig Robinson's lines are written. They're scripted lines.
Yep.
And he's just delivering them like a champ.
So
this sheriff,
the seriousness with which he delivers the craziest lines is so. He was perfect. At first, I was like worried he was going to be too much. Yeah. And I was like, no, this is exactly what it needed.
And if the movie was more serious, he would have been too much.
Yes.
But like those moments where it's dumb and self-aware, allows him to be just ridiculous.
Yes.
And I do try to write down some funny lines, but I can't write down everything funny he says, or I'd be writing the script out.
100%.
So yeah, he has failed to uphold his vow to protect and serve, so he's going to establish a task force to investigate.
2 stolen items.
Yeah.
And one of them wasn't even for sale. It was just Theo's boots.
Yeah, Theo's boots, his galoshes.
That he was going to replace anyway because they were old.
Yeah, Theo and Mel are like, chill out, dude, let's buy you some breakfast. He's like, you can't buy me breakfast. That's influencing the investigation. Okay. Okay. Let's take it back to the diner, shall we? Kathy's trying to continuing to try to figure out who this man is. He's a snowman, but he doesn't know what his name is. He likes the name Jack, though, so he's going to keep the name Jack from the thing. Why not? That's what I would have done. The last thing he remembers is her putting the scarf on him and then flashing a light in his eyes. A light? Lacey Chabert, curious face, pulls out the phone, holds the picture up next to his face, and is like, oh, sculpture.
I truly, in this moment, was like, whoa, she's going to believe this story right away.
Thank goodness she didn't.
I mean, like, good she didn't, but I really was like, it was that easy?
It was that easy. It was just done. I really was glad that her reaction was, this is a prank. Like, she really made it logical. She's like, oh, it was a sculpture, and then you replaced it with a real person. This is a prank. And I'm like, oh, that was good logic thinking. Yep. I would not know. I would go, is this magic? I would probably be like, I'm going to take the rest of the day off because I don't know what's going on.
I'm going to go lie down with a cold compress on my head.
Yeah, exactly. Something's wrong.
Or a warm one because of my cold house.
Like, shake myself awake. Like, wake up. What's going on?
For pinching up my arm.
Yeah, right. But Jack feels strange and hot. And when she tests his forehead, because he is sweating, he's ice cold. Yep. And she thinks he has hypothermia. Mm-hmm. Again, logic.
I have heard that that's normal.
Really?
Like people, when they're suffering through hypothermia, a lot of times they take off their clothes because they're hot, but they're actually cold, and they exacerbate it and they die quicker. because they're getting like naked in the snow.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, so hypothermia, again, is her thinking.
I will say that makes sense because sometimes when I go running, if I don't wear the right layers, I'll be really hot, but my skin will be frostbite cold. I guess that makes sense. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this next scene is just because they want to give Craig Robinson funny things to say.
Yep.
So we're in the police station. He has a keyboard, and he's singing. He's singing a song about Hope Springs, where they live. And he's singing so loudly, his deputy can't hear the person on the phone.
Who's trying to like report a crime.
Yeah, well, they're trying to report that there was a streaker last night.
Well, that's a crime.
It is a crime, you are correct. Again, the old man can't identify him, but Ethel, the old lady, thinks he's doing a public service. My God. And the sheriff is, paranoid, as comedic sheriffs are. He says there hasn't been any crime, and everyone knows he's hard on crime. And it's 6 weeks before he's reappointed as sheriff, and there's a crime spree? So he thinks the mayor has it in for him. And he has this little turntable display of sunglasses, and they're all exactly the same. And he just puts one on, and it's really good. But there's really no other purpose to this scene.
No, it was just to establish, I think, more of his character.
Yeah.
So that we know what we're in for later on as we deal with him more.
Yes, that's a good point. It gave him a little bit of, I did like that he had some, I'm going to be reappointed sheriff. I need to crack down on this. I was like, that's good. They never bring it up again, which makes it a little useless, but I was glad they gave us some background.
Yeah. It also kind of showed that Ed might be more of the real cop.
Yes, Ed is the real cop.
Which is funny in the irony of he thinks he's tough on crime, arrests everybody, but then is loudly singing while they're trying to get a tip. Yeah. It's no, this is what you want. What are you doing?
You're the problem.
Yeah. It's me. Hi.
Taylor Swift.
Uh-oh. I thought I was going to get in trouble.
I know. I'm an indulgent person.
I know.
Person.
Person.
Back at the doctor's office.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to figure out Mr. Hypothermia. The doctor is very interested in Kathy's hot new friend.
Everyone is.
It was a little unprofessional, but then also...
Disgusting.
Did you say disgusting? Yeah, she comes... But then later, it makes sense with her personality. Anyway, Kathy explains that she found Jack by the snow sculptures. He's very upfront. He tells her he's a snowman. It's very Buddy the Elf of him. It's very Buddy the Elf.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah. And he says he's feeling fine, but he is sweating. And when they take his temperature, he's registering below 30 degrees. It's funny. They pull out a thermometer. He's below 30 degrees. She just throws it out and grabs another one. I'm like...
She throws out the battery one and grabs the one that, is the mercury.
Oh, there we go.
She's like, this one's faulty.
Yes.
And then it's like, this one can't be.
Okay. So, he's cold. He appears to be melting. What? He's melting? Could that mean something? I know. Now, the doctor is team, he's a snowman.
Yep.
And that's why I think her being unprofessional in the beginning was fine, because she thinks he's a snowman.
Yep, she's like, this makes sense.
She's willing to indulge this. Even if she's joking, she's willing to indulge this. And they throw in a Netflix reference because she's like, he might be telling the truth. And Kathy says, yeah, and I'm the Queen of Aldovia. Aha!
Okay, Princess Switch.
Princess Switch.
That was what my flag was going to be for, but I knew you'd get it.
I'm bringing the Glockenspiel.
You know what? We love the Glockenspiel.
We do love the Glockenspiel, and I should have brought the second hit thing, but I didn't think we would be using it in this episode.
I think it's going to become
both Glockenspiel
lore for us.
I agree. So I'll leave it where you can grab the...
Okay. The dinghy.
I don't know, the dinghy. You can grab the dinghy, and we're going to say Netflix point.
There's going to be at least one more?
There's a couple. We'll do references. We'll do little reference things.
Yep.
Queen of Aldovia, Princess Switch. Really strung that one out. Yeah, either way, the doctor is like, look, I'll take him in. Gross, but okay. You know what?
The way she said it was lecherous. It was not...
It was not a doctor and a patient.
It was not, I'm worried about this person, I'll take care of him. She's like, he could stay with me.
Yeah. Great. But he wants to stay with Kathy. And because he trusts Kathy, Kathy put the scarf on him, and he's pretty sure the scarf is what's keeping him alive.
Yes.
And she says no, and he gets so sad. He's so sad. And she says, okay. And he's like, thank you, I love you. And And she's like, you do not love me. And he's like, I do love you. And she's like, no, you don't.
I do love you.
I love this joke. I love the I love you thing. Yep.
Oh, keep going.
Okay. So she takes him to her house.
Okay, wait, hold on then.
Okay.
Sorry. She says something like, we barely know each other. And he says, technically, I've known you my whole life.
See, the jokes in this movie are what sell it.
Yes.
This movie would be terrible if they did not just pile on the humor.
100%.
Yeah, Jack's walking around this house like just the newborn babe that he is, completely in awe of everything around him. And we get that just like classic person who isn't from this time period or person with amnesia. They puts him in front of the television. And the TV is playing.
Well, hold on.
Yes.
The TV's off at first. And she's like, watch TV, and hands him the remote. And I was like, gives the guy who wasn't a person a remote like he knows what to do.
Yeah, well, it led us
probably because she thinks he should know what to do.
Yeah, also...
Now that I think about it.
Yeah.
But it does let us do this.
Falling for You by Netflix is on the TV. And Lacey Chabert says, that really looks like a girl I used to go to high school with.
Amazing.
Mean Girls.
I knew this was coming because they had that in the trailer.
Oh, okay.
Which
I love that I don't watch
hadn't.
trailers. I wish they didn't either. I mean, I know why they did it. It's because it pulls you in, it gives you the tone of the movie, and people will be like, oh, they're going to make jokes like that.
Yeah. But I was just like, that is so funny.
It was great. I cackled.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get me to really love the modern jokes, and I was having a great time. So they flip through the channels. There's a cooking channel on, and he's very excited. He's like, that's what you do. And she tells us about how her husband and her opened the diner. And I think he was the cook.
I think so. That's what it sounded like.
She made a few recipes. One of them was sweet potato casserole. And Jack wants to work at the diner and help people. Like she helps people.
I'm in love with him.
Oh my God. He's a child, Chelsea. He has the brain of a child.
He watches TV and becomes a handyman. I don't know what to tell you.
That's a good point. He could maybe. Oh. Okay, I'm making a case that I'll use later.
Okay.
So she starts to go out and he's just like, I'm just so excited to be here with you.
I love you.
He's like, I love this house and I love you. He's like, no, you don't. You don't love me. Saying you love a person means way more than you love a thing. And it takes a long time to realize you love somebody. And I was just like, I am Jack. Because I say I love you to people. And I'm not meaning I'm in love with you. Like, I love you like I love the show Midsummer Murders, you know? Like, these are both things that I love. But I do understand that I also am not like that in relationships. When I'm dating somebody, and I think maybe this is her brain knowing she's attracted to this man, because like when I'm dating someone, I purposely am like, Ariel, shut up. Do not say I love you. Do not say I love you. Please stop saying that, you know?
Yeah, I also think like she was taking it to such an extreme level. I was like, he's not telling you that he's in love with you.
No,
like,
he just says I love you.
But I also get, we don't have some of her context yet.
Yeah.
So I can understand that might be activating for her and she doesn't want to hear it.
Good point.
But I was like, she's teaching him the meaning of love because he won't stop saying he loves her. Like he literally wouldn't stop. And she was like, love takes time, shut up.
I love you. No, you don't. Yes, I do. No, you don't. Yes, I do.
I do though.
I do love you. I don't know who says this, but someone says you can learn a lot from TV.
I think she says it to him.
Yeah. So he's, and oh, by the way, it's really hot in there. He asks her to turn off the heater.
He's like, can I use this to turn off that? And she goes, I'll just turn it off.
I'll just turn off the heater.
Right before she leaves.
Then she says, don't rob me blind. She's like, goodbye, please don't rob me blind. I'm like, this script is so good.
It was just like joke after joke.
Yeah. And then they have these really sweet lines where he's like, I don't understand what's happening, but he's so glad she's the one who found him.
I cried.
I bet you did. I remember you messaging me, be like, I'm crying. I'm like, what are you crying at?
I cried.
So we get a quick scene at the diner with Kathy talking to the doctor about Jack being at her house. She's going to get him some clothes. The cops show up, and they're like, there's a strange man in town. Mm-hmm. He must be new in town, or he would know the strictness in which the sheriff enforces the law in Hope Springs. And they're like, you need to report him ASAP.
Yep.
And she, rightfully, actually, I thought this was good. She was like, is he dangerous? And the sheriff's like, there's nothing more dangerous than a blatant disrespect of the law. But the deputy's like, no, I really don't think he's dangerous.
Again, Ed being the normal cop.
He's like, no, I really think it's okay.
We think he's okay.
But back at Kathy's house, Jack is watching more cooking shows. He's eating just handfuls of ice. And I just want to say, I've brought this up in other movies because you know I love this movie, but this is so George of the Jungle. I'm going to put up this little bit about Jack, and then I'm going to put up this little clip of George of the Jungle. They're almost identical in George mimicking the TV, learning things from the TV. Yeah. George does not learn like Jack learns.
Right.
You know, Jack acquires skills. George just eats coffee grounds and then goes attacking San Francisco, but it was very similar.
Is that the version with
Brendan Fraser?
Brendan Fraser?
Yeah. Oh my God, I thought to myself, I was like, if young Brendan Fraser played Jack,
yeah,
I would be so much more on board. Not that I don't think Dustin Milligan's good.
No,
but
I know what you mean.
But so there's like a vampire movie on TV and he's very scared. And he like falls over the couch. And then I didn't know what he was doing. He says later, he goes vampire. I was like, what is he doing? And later he goes, I was vampire hunting. Like, what?
Yeah.
But he finds his way to the basement. And he starts going, he just loves this house. And he's going through things and he starts like looking at the tools, like the handyman tools and the boxes of ornaments. He finds her wedding pictures. And then he finds like a medical report or something, and it's talking about cancer. And so we know her husband's died of cancer, and it's sad.
God, it's so sad. It's so sad.
And later that night, when Kathy comes home, Jack rushes out of the kitchen holding a rolling pin in his hand, and she like thinks he's gonna attack her. And I'm like, he's wearing an apron, okay? Your eyes
he's covered in flour.
Yeah, like your eyes didn't context clues. But you know, I actually sat there and went, okay. I mean, he's running out of the dark. You think he's gonna attack you? Yeah, I was being judgy. But he's like, you gotta come to the kitchen, and she's like, no. First of all, where did you get the clothes? Were you running naked? And he's like, yes.
This little nod.
Yeah, he very much admits that he's the problem. And she tells him about the sheriff and that he's looking for him and he needs to lay low. Of course, you know, go ahead.
Did you ever read the books growing up, Amelia Bedelia?
I did. Do I remember much? No, but I definitely did.
So in my old age, I now refer to it as malicious compliance. But the joke is that she takes everything literally.
Yes.
So when they tell her to lay low, she literally lays down.
Low,
and I was like, this is very Amelia Bedelia right now, because he literally starts to lay down.
Amelia Bedelia. Oh, I didn't give myself a George of the Jungle ding. Oh, and it's cute because he's like, are you mad at me? And she's like, no, I'm just trying to keep my story straight. But he's such a child. Anyway, all this handled, she's gonna go put his clothes away. He says, meet me in the kitchen. She comes in the kitchen. He's full on chef flipping a pizza, you know, and he's a fast learner and he's making her dinner and he made her eggnog. And she's like, it's fantastic eggnog. I don't know what nog is, but it tastes good.
Yeah, he said, I have no idea what a nog actually is.
And, you know, he's like, when was the last time someone made you dinner? Which was a very adult thing to ask her. And apparently Isaac at the diner makes her dinner. She flicked that one off. You're not flirting with me, young man.
Yeah.
And so he starts telling her that earlier he's checking the house for vampires. And he says, what's cancer? Oh, that hit.
This movie got me several times, and this was one of those times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought her dialogue was really good.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't actually explain what it is, but she kind of explains like that he passed away really quickly, and it was like nice that he didn't suffer, but you think you have more time, and that's the thing, like you think you have more time. And this hit me because of, you know, Bella passing away, my dog, being very quick, and I was like, oh, this really resonates with grief.
Yes.
Yep. I do want to lighten the mood a little bit. Why on earth did they name her Kathy? It's such it's not of our generation.
Like it feels like it could have been Katie.
Well, I was thinking about it. I'm like, if you have a Catherine if she's 40, let's give her that she's 40. She's really Lacey Chabert's name. If your name is Catherine, you go by Katie, Kathy. Not Kathy is not it. Like Kit, if you're feeling eccentric.
Ooh, Kit would have been cute.
Kit would have been really cute. But I was like, Kathy? I feel like it's an old name. It really bugged me. Really, he like called her Kathy, and I was like, it sounds like your mom.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they wrote this character to be his mom. And actually, for the first half of the movie, that's what
Almost,
she does.
Kinda, yeah.
That kills a little bit of the romance for me. Did you find anything on your computer?
No, I was trying to see if there was some sort of Frosty the Snowman Kathy correlation, and I didn't find one.
No reference? Okay. So yes, he's making her the pizza, but he asks if she can put it in the oven because he doesn't like the oven. And he has a pizza that's cold in the fridge for himself.
I'm obsessed with him. Like, is he gonna make my men I would marry list? Probably not. But
Probably don't. Don't marry this man.
by the end, he seems very normal.
No, he doesn't seem very normal.
He's super normal.
He seems much closer to normal.
Never.
But if you would let this man, I mean, okay, I will say the difference between this man and Night Before Christmas. No, and Night Before Christmas, she knows it's magic there too. So
Yeah.
if Night Before Christmas didn't make it to your top list, why? Also, Chelsea,
They're different
with
people.
this season of
I know.
Med,
I know.
this man
Well,
doesn't
I
even.
mean, at this point, I'm choosing between Santa Claus and a snowman. So, come on, dude.
You make good points.
Thank you. I'm full of
You
them.
make logic brain moments. Oh, and by
I love that he's scared of the oven. And also, that was a nice way for them to make us laugh again after the cancer of it all, because that was heavy.
That was tough. And they give us a little romance because their hands touch.
So again, with the Edward Cullen, like his hands were supposed to be like ice cold, and she like,
Vampire. After
Okay.
making dinner, they're watching TV together like a good normal family does.
Yep.
And they see a commercial for Hawaii, and he wants to go to Hawaii. And I really like, because she's like, this was like I went, you can't go to Hawaii, you're a snowman. That's not her first argument. That's her last argument.
Yep.
Her first argument is you don't go on vacation with people you just met.
not a bad argument.
Second argument, really expensive.
Also not bad.
Third argument, Hawaii is warm. But then she's like, you'll get there someday, somehow. You're a fast learner. And he gives her this hug, and it's such like a big kid hug. And that
Yes.
really, a little flaccid for me.
Yeah,
I
I
was
get it.
not feeling it. But she's not much of a hugger, so she doesn't hug him back.
Yep.
So you get excited, they're gonna hug later. You bet they're gonna hug.
Oh, absolutely.
And yeah, they say goodnight, and he's like, what should I do tomorrow? She says, stay in the house, lay low. And he starts watching a program on house repairs. And I go, oh, we're gonna get that moment where he's on the roof and he's shirtless. I swear, dude, when I saw that like promo photo or screenshot of him on the roof with his shirt off, I took a step back. His abs were so cut in that picture, I was like, what?
Yeah, I was talking to one of my friends about this because I was like, I don't remember him being this jacked in Schitt's Creek.
Yeah.
And they were like, we don't remember the camera scene? And I was like, I do. So there is a scene where they're trying to drum up business or like interest for the veterinarian. I don't know. But what Alexis does is she puts a live cam in with bunnies. So people can just like check in on the bunnies and see how they're doing.
I think I've heard of this.
Ted comes back in from a run and starts stripping and stretching, and he's just in his boxers, like doing runner's stretches against the table where the rabbits are, and like the views jump up by a crazy percentage. And his body was good. My actual only complaint was his long hair in this. I think he looks much better with short hair.
Yeah, I thought the long hair was a little much. And it was really funny. I was talking to my friend who was watching this movie, and she didn't even think about that we were going to review it. I was like, do you know nothing about my life?
Don't even know
But
me.
she said, she was like, yeah, I wish he was. I was like, man, he was cut. And she's like, I wish he was more muscular. He was a little thin for me. And I was like, okay.
I like him a little skinny. If he looked too much like our guy from the last movie, he would have been too big.
No, I agree. I'm trying to think of, I would have preferred Cutie from Catch Me If You Claws. I feel like he
Luke
would have been.
McFarlane would have been a
McFarlane would have been
really
really
good
well
choice.
cast in this. What I found funny, and I didn't, I wasn't thinking about focusing on it, but he actually wasn't as dashingly handsome as
No.
I was anticipating.
At first, I thought I was not going to like that, but by the end, I did not care. I have such a soft spot for this actor.
Yeah. He reminded me a little of me, because I was like, I'm very attractive. Like, I know that I'm very attractive. This isn't self-downing. Nobody come in the comments and be like, Ariel, you're beautiful. I know, bro. I look at myself in the mirror constantly. But there are times where, like, I have a unique face.
Yeah.
And so, like, when he smiles or laughs really big, like, his lip curls up and he gets, like, this really kind of goofy smile.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's me. That's my face.
Yep.
I'm like, there's times where I am stunning, and then there's times where I'm a
Stunning.
big old goof.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so I was like, I related to that. He was relatable in that way. Mm-hmm. Back to the movie.
Yeah. Him shirtless on the roof.
Yes. It's the next morning, and we're meeting a new character. Her name is Jane, apparently. I had to look it up because I was just going to call her old lady. In the nicest way possible, she's the older woman of the movie. But her name is Jane. And she drives by the house, and there is a half-naked man on the roof fixing it.
I wrote, not laying low, bud.
No, not at all. He doesn't know what it means. And she, of course, naturally backs up her car like triple speed to go look at him because this town can't keep it together.
Nope.
And she crashes her car into a snowbank. This joke is for Chelsea, not for me. And you know what? How about you tell them what this joke in this scene was?
Because all I wrote was Ariel hated that.
Oh, I hated every minute of it.
She crashes. He turns and sees her. He goes down the ladder without touching a single
that was
rung.
hot. I will
he
give
just
you, that
slides
was
right
awesome.
down
I
and
love that.
lands. And he's like, ma'am, are you okay? And she's like, I think so, but I think I'm stuck. And he's like, I'll get behind you and push.
Do you want me to get behind you and push?
She's like, I think that'd be okay. And he is shirtless behind the car. It is very sexual.
It's a lot of thrusting. He is like
he's
thrusting
naked,
the cars, thrusting.
rocking, and then the car doesn't really actually move out of the snowbank, but he's like, you should be good now. And he's like, I'm out of breath. And she's like, me too. And then she kind of is like, who are you?
Yeah. Friend of Kathy's.
Friend of Kathy's. And then she basically is like, come on over.
Yeah, she's like, how are you with electricity? Because I have a light that needs to be installed. And he's like, I can't really go. What?
Oh, yeah. Keep going.
He's like, I can't really go with you because Kathy told me to stay here. And she's like, I've known Kathy since she was born. See, she's the older lady. I've known Kathy since she was born. Any friend of hers is a friend of mine. And he's like, well, I'll go get my shirt. And she's like, oh.
Yeah. But when she asks, like, how are you with electricity? He's like, if it's on TV, I can learn it.
Yes. I remember later, I was like, oh, I need to include that line. I didn't. But it's a great line if it's on TV. Which I feel like nowadays, sometimes that's really the truth. Like, if it's on YouTube, I could learn it.
I could.
Yep. So, of course, she gets a gaggle of women to watch him install a light. My God.
It was a cool light fixture.
It was. There was 2 women there that I didn't know, but also Mel from the thrift store was there.
Yep.
And she says, hey, nice scarf. And I'm like, does Mel know? Mel does. I don't think Mel does. Mel knows, no. But she does say nice scarf. And one of them, I don't know who it is, wants him to do maintenance for the Christmas dance. And he's like, oh, I really shouldn't. And they're like, but you should. And so he says he will. And they're like, Kathy's lucky to have you. And he's like, I'm the lucky one.
Them ogling him shamelessly, like drinking wine and just like watching him install
Ridiculous.
that light. Again, horniest women in town.
Oh, I know. And I was like, why did she call them and have them come over?
You know why.
Bring your friends over to watch this man. Also, like, if they think he's a normal person, like, why are people like this?
I think no one is. I hope no one's like this.
I'm trying to think if I've ever been in this situation where someone doing repairs was that good looking.
No.
No.
I mean, one of the ongoing jokes about repairs is like plumbers crack, and
Yeah.
it's kind of gross.
I guess if you got it.
Flaunt it.
Objectify.
Flaunt it. What's that from? What musical is that from?
You could Google it. You have a computer in front of you.
Yeah. Anyway, keep going.
So yeah, he's like, I'm the lucky one. And then he asks if he can have a ride to the diner. And they all immediately throw themselves out the door to give him a ride to the diner. Oh my God, he shows up at the diner in a convertible, open, filled with women. Kathy's not happy. And she scolds him. And he explains everything because he's not a liar, you know?
No.
But she's like, you really can't run around like this, you know? And the sheriff actually spots him. It's funny because Jack chugs some ice water, pours ice down his shirt, and then asks for a cup of ice. You guys need to know he's melting. It's important.
I said they're doing a good job with the always burning up thing.
Yeah, it's very consistent.
I was very scared for him for a lot of this movie.
Oh,
It's like he's gonna melt away.
he's gonna melt. There was only one time where I was actually and it wasn't the ultimate time.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, so the sheriff is outside, is like, who's this new man in town? And she's like, it's the sheriff. Whatever I say, agree with everything I say, and say everything I say is true. Like, she's like, everything I say is true, agree with everything. The sheriff's like, how are you, Kathy? And she says, I'm fine. And he says, it's true, she's fine. Shut up, Jack. So the sheriff starts interrogating Jack, and Jack's kind of freaking out, rightfully so. He's told he can't say anything, and the kid doesn't have a large repertoire of things to talk about.
Yep, ice.
And the sheriff is like, why is there no beverage for that ice, Jack? And he's like, because I like to eat the ice. And then him and the sheriff just start shoveling handfuls of ice into it's, oh my God.
I referred to it as an ice off.
Yeah.
They just keep eating ice. And they're like,
Just shoving it in their mouth. And even in one of the bloopers, Craig Robinson chokes on the ice.
I loved the blooper reels so
I knew
much.
you would. I know how much you love bloopers.
I think they're just it's fun to see actors being people.
Yeah.
Because as we've established, I don't think celebrities are normal.
No, last episode was very filled with things. But the sheriff also says, you seem sweaty. Guilty people sweat. But they don't have any more time to talk to him. Kathy steals him away. And he has this line. He asks the deputy, do nice guys sweat through their shirt when they're being questioned by the cops? And the deputy says, if they have a gland condition, yes.
I missed that one.
It was good. If they have a gland condition. I'm going to start using that. Anyway, Kathy gets Jack out of the diner, and she's. Oh, do you have a comment?
I'm waiting to see if you say what I wrote down.
Sometimes that's how I feel like this game is like, are they going to say it? Double Dutch, But she's pissed. She's very angry, and she's like, "You're going to get in trouble." And she's very mom.
Yep.
And
he had one job,
and he's like, "Well, maybe." He's like, "Should I go to jail because I did something wrong?" And she's like, "You can't handle jail." And it's because he's going to melt,
She's like, you can't even handle being in the diner.
Yeah. And she's like, stop saying hi to people. Stay home. And he tells her he can't stay home because he got a job at the middle school. She wants him to cancel it, but he can't cancel. He promised. He stands up for himself. And he doesn't understand why she's upset because he's trying to help people. But she says it's different because he's a criminal. And he's like, I'm going to school. And she says, fine, melt in a jail cell.
So she had one line that she delivered so well. It might have been when he got out of the car with the gaggle of women.
Yeah.
But she said, I have so many questions and they don't matter. She was just like, yeah, of course. But the way she delivered the line I was like,
is
Lacey, you're killing it for me right now, girl.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe she got more acting help than they usually get.
Yeah, but the melt in a jail cell.
Yeah, fine. Melt in a jail cell. What do I care? Sail.
Melt in a jail cell.
Jail cell. My Midwest. What's happening?
Well, yes.
When they get home, they're fighting. They're still mad at each other. Jack goes to his spare bedroom, He goes to his room.
Right in.
And she's mad, but then she notices the bucket of water's gone. He's fixed the ceiling. There's no more leak in the roof. He's also decorated the house. And the front step, the step on the stairs is fixed.
Yeah.
And she is in awe of everything that he's done for her. And so she goes into the bedroom, and there's a movie on. I'm pretty sure it's Single All the Way. I had to look it up because I knew it was Jennifer Coolidge because I love her.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And I looked up Jennifer Coolidge Christmas movie, and it looked like it was...
Netflix likes to play their own movies.
They do. I mean, it makes complete sense. If you got to put something on the TV, put your own movie.
Yep. And I think you're right, because they also then don't have to worry about any sort of copyright.
Exactly. And I was really happy that it was Jennifer Coolidge because
God, I love that
woman.
Highly recommend.
Was it good? You watched it? How was Luke McFarlane in it?
I think his role is
really
pretty
small.
minor.
Yeah, okay, never mind. Never mind. So Kathy's like, you fixed the roof and the step and the decorations. And I was yelling, please get your shoes off your pillows, Jack. He has his fucking shoes on the bed like a moron. When this man's not an adult. Though I will say Fraser Crane once wears his shoes on the bed. So Fraser's an adult. I guess Jack's an adult too.
Yeah,
I was pissed.
it's true.
He did take his shoes off right after I yelled at him, so it was okay.
He heard you.
And he does say that he just did what he saw on TV, but he's very upset.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know what's happening any more than she does. And he could wake up tomorrow and be a puddle. So he's trying to make the most of the time he has while he's here. And she says, okay.
You can do it.
You can go. But you can't tell anyone you're a snowman. And you can't tell anybody that the sheriff is looking for you. And she will drop him off at the school for doing maintenance. And then she will pick him up and he can't hug anyone. Which is good. He shouldn't be hugging the children.
Right. Absolutely not.
So we get this cute montage of him decorating with the kids at the school, and
He literally wrote so cute.
it's so cute, and it's so hot for him. So he's very excited, and then he runs out and lays in the snow, and then runs back in to keep working. He's really good at working with people.
Yeah.
And then they're, baking cookies, and they pull the cookies out of the fridge, and he eats one, and then she bites the head off of a snowman cookie, and it's a good joke.
He looks so offended. And she doesn't clock it at all, which is my favorite. Like, it was just for the actor to have fun with it.
Yeah.
Rather than it be a point of contempt. It was just to make us laugh, which was, because I did laughed.
And they bring in the tree and they decorate the tree. And again, I want this soundtrack. It's really good. Are we 50 Shades of Graying it over here? This is a
Twilight.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Twilight.
That Twilight soundtrack hits.
And she's fallen in love with him. She's giving him googly eyes, Next day at school, she goes to pick him up. He's saying goodbye to all the kids, every kid. And I didn't take enough notes.
Yeah.
So there's I looked at my notes, I'm like, this is sporadic, but you can't change it now. I think at one point she's like, what am I doing here? And he's like, you're picking me up from school. And she's like, no, I'm asking the universe for clarification.
Yeah. It was, you're picking me up from school.
And then she's like, what am I doing here with you? You're a stranger, you're good looking, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I'm good looking? Mm-hmm. And she's like, of course you're good looking. Everyone thinks you're good looking. The whole town is in love with you. And he says, they can't be in love with me because it takes a long time to fall in love. And if the whole town loves me and you're in the town.
Yep.
She's like, stop. And I'm like, don't stop. This is awesome.
She's like, stop it.
I'm like, this logic is 5D chess fantastic.
He's not that dumb.
It's so good.
He starts to get pretty normal pretty quick.
No,
you ask me.
He doesn't get that normal.
Yes, he does.
No, he has normal moments.
Uh-huh.
But she does say that she thinks he's nice and she loves seeing him help everybody out. Yep. The word love just isn't in her vocabulary.
I get it.
I know. And when they get into the car, she gives us this little monologue about, the real reason that love is in her vocabulary is that her life is a mess.
Yeah.
And she hasn't been taking care of herself or her personal life since Paul passed away, and everybody knows it. And even if Jack was a person that she loved, she's not convinced she can love someone. She says she isn't convinced that she can love herself without Paul.
My notes literally say, gosh, this is heavy.
Oh, gosh.
I was definitely misty-eyed during this. I felt for her. I don't know, maybe it's, I try not to think about the bad things that could happen.
That's a good point.
To the person I love. And so,
yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know what I would do. And everyone would know it.
Oh, baby. It's a good thing you have a social structure.
I know.
I was listening to some show, Dr. John Delaney. That's a good show, podcast. And he was talking to a guy who was dealing with grieving his wife. And he said the first thing you need to do is you need to go out and you need to join a men's group or a friend group or get nachos with your friends every single week. He's like, because when you lose a spouse, that's why you have to have friends. That's why you have to have a circle outside. And it's not just so you can have friends. It's because when one of you passes away, you need a community so you are not all alone. And I think of that all the time when I think of these things.
Yep.
And Jack, this is just so cheesy.
I know.
But he says, if Paul saw the same amazing person that Jack sees, he wouldn't want this amazing person to think that she's anything less than amazing. And Kathy is crying. Kathy and Chelsea are crying.
I'm crying right now a little bit.
Misty.
I watched Encanto last night, so I'm very fragile.
Yes, you did. I saw that. I was like, oh, she's crying at Encanto again. Kathy does also start laughing and talking about how she's getting grief counseling from a snowman. I mean, my tenant. I mean, my friend.
My tenant?
Yeah.
I'm like, he's not paying rent, baby.
Yeah, I know. And he's like, no, I'm your tenant. She's like, no, you're my friend. I'm like, well, you're working your way. You're working your way. Next thing we know, they're driving through the town, and he gets very excited because the window, the glass, for the diner has arrived.
Not for the diner, for the...
Not the diner, sorry.
Yeah.
The thrift shop.
Yep.
The glass for the thrift shop is arrived. And he's really excited because he ordered that glass. And she's like, how much was that order? And he goes, it was free. It didn't pay for anything. And she's like, the computer has my credit card on it. So it did cost something. But she says that they're even because of the home repairs. But she does, as he's running out, she's like, did you buy anything else? And he's like,
Gotta go.
I'm like, I can't wait to see the romantic thing he bought for her. Because it's got to be, why else? It's got to be something romantic. Mm-hmm. So he goes up to look at the glass and just ends up telling Mel and Theo everything. He cannot lie to people, and he doesn't have much to talk about, I guess. Mm-hmm. And they don't care. He's like, I will come and I'll install it, and they're fine. Oh, and they say they're not mad. He doesn't need to return the clothes. No one could be mad at Christmas. You needed help, and you did what you had to, and you're making it right. I was like...
I did, when she was like, you needed help, and you, like, I was like, kind of did, though. Like,
he did need help.
And he didn't, like, it's not like he robbed them blind.
Yes.
He took 2 things that probably weren't going to sell. Actually, 1 thing that wasn't even for sale. Like, it's not like he did anything too crazy. But, yeah, I was just like, I think people are going to be mad at Christmas, though. Like, I don't think we need, like, why are we putting Christmas
Yeah,
in
it can't be
front of
mad at
things?
Christmas. Maybe just to add in that it's Christmas. I don't know, man.
Yeah, we gotta.
But Jack definitely helps install the glass. Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, Kathy's just watching him from her car or something. And the deputy comes up and he's like, hey, we got these wanted posters and I feel a little compelled to point out the resemblance to your friend. And he's like, you could tell me if he did it. And Kathy's like, nope. And she tries to distract him. She distracts him, like, can I get you something to eat in the diner? And she pulls him into the diner. And she's like, how does a bowl of soup sound? And he starts making these popping noises because he's making the sound of a bowl of soup. He's like,
So weird.
And she's like, what? And I'm like, what's happening? He's like, that's what a bowl of soup would sound like. And she's like, no, she's like, do you like soup? And then he starts talking about how he does like soup, but he can't have chowders because of his dairy allergy, but he would arrest a baby for a good beef barley.
Okay. Also, the picture on the poster, objectively scary.
I agree. When he was like, it looks like your friend, I'm like, I don't know. That man looks ruthless.
My friend, if he was on meth?
I know, right? I was like, benefit of the doubt that that's not him. Other than the hair, you wouldn't know. I wish they had cut his hair or something.
Yeah.
You know, and then nobody would have known.
Yeah.
But he needed long hair for this, so there we go.
For some reason.
They get the soup, by the way.
Yep.
They go in, the glass gets installed, and the sheriff comes to the thrift shop. Jack has left at this point, I think, because the sheriff is walking through the thrift shop, not attending to Jack, so he has to be gone. Oh, yeah. They're at the glass. They're looking through the glass, and he says he's going to find this culprit because you can replace the glass, but you can't replace the pain. And she's like, we did replace the pain. And he's like, no, the pain, the physical pain. And she's like, the glass pain. He's like, no, the pain you were in. It's a metaphor. And they're like, no, it's a pun. And he's like, no, it's a metaphor.
Also clever writing in that regard. Like,
always.
Breaking the fourth wall, basically.
There's no reason for me to be telling you verbatim all these jokes, but they're so good.
They're good.
And he's like, who did the installation? And they say Kathy's friend Jack. Why? Because he's nice. Yeah, seems reasonable. But the sheriff's like, or he has something to hide.
Which...
Sometimes
Are
actually...
his instincts bad?
Okay, sometimes I think the sheriff comes to correct conclusions.
Absolutely.
Like, there's going to be a moment later where the sheriff has a theory, and I'm like, this is completely logical for a sheriff to think this is what's going on.
100%.
But for right now, we're going to go back to the school. Jack is in the auditorium by himself, and he's in this chair, so, like, if you walk in the room, you can't see him. But he's blowing up balloons in this chair by himself. He's got a really big back. You can't tell he's there. And these students walk in, and they're really impressed by the
Wow.
dance. And the boy asks out the girl to go to the dance. And Jack, like, is, like, in wonder listening to this interaction. And the girl's like, he's like, oh, but are you going with somebody else? She's like, no. She says yes. And then they, like, go walk back holding hands. They walk to class. And you can see Jack is, like, hatching a plan.
Young love.
Yeah, and Jack's getting really excited. So next we go to the police station, and of course he's got that classic Charlie Day, look at all the strings going across the murder board, tangled web of yarn, and he needs a photo of Jack. Luckily, Jack runs in, and he doesn't know what's going on, so he says that's a cool art project with everybody's in the town, like everyone in the town is on the board, and he thinks it's really cool. And the sheriff's like, well, you're not on the board. He takes a picture of him with a flip phone. Why is this joke here?
I don't know.
Why does he have a flip phone?
I don't know.
But Jack obviously doesn't care. He actually wants to talk to the deputy. He wants some help. Yeah, he wants some help. So they head out. And I loved this scene.
I did too.
Jack tells Ed, there we go, that he wants to go on a date with Kathy, but he doesn't know how to ask her because he's never been on a date.
And Ed's like, you've never been on a date? Like the shock of this Adonis.
Yeah, right?
Like never having a girlfriend.
And he says, you're a 10. And he's like, what? He's like, no, you're a 10. And they like, and it has to be improv because they go back and forth about how Ed's a 10. And one of the things he says is he's like, in your mustache, which starts halfway down. And I'm like, this is improv gold. But Ed says, if you're having fun and she's having fun, you're golden. And then we get this really dumb little... Jack is like, well, how do I know if she wants to kiss me? And Ed's like, well, she's going to lean in and make a face. And you're like, oh, he's leaning in. And Jack hopes he's good at kissing. And Ed's like, you're going to be fine. Then he says, there's one more thing I'm hoping you can show me. And we get this cut to the sheriff looking out the window, and Jack and Ed are dancing. He's showing him how to dance.
I think the sheriff's like, what the heck? Like, doesn't he say something like that? He's like, what in the world?
It's very like, Jesus Christ, like, what is going on?
What's going on?
But these were the moments where I was like, this movie's so funny.
It's so
And I was like, yeah, I'm glad that I got to host this movie because it's really, really funny. And I think I had said this in Round and Round or one of those. I had said I would have cringed my way through the Lindsay Lohan movie.
Yeah, I think so.
And I'm glad I got this one because I didn't cringe my way through this one. Even if I have criticisms, I didn't cringe.
Yeah.
I really laughed my whole way through. Mm-hmm. So yeah, another day's gone by. Kathy's coming home. She's really excited to see him. Like she has a funny story to tell him. It's really cute, but he cannot contain himself.
We never hear it.
Yeah, what's the funny story, Kathy?
I wanted to hear it.
Leave it in the comments. If anyone knows Kathy's funny story, tell us. Thank you. But so he can't hold it in. He blurts out like, "Will you go to the Christmas dance with me?" Because he's a chaperone at the dance, and she is so totally gonna reject him. And he's like, oh, you're going with somebody else. And she's like, no, it's just, and he says, I've been trying to lay low like you wanted, but I just want to stand tall with you, even if it's just for one night. I don't know who would say no to this man.
I
would not.
Literally I can't.
I would go mind of the child, but I got to do it.
Are you going with someone else?
Yeah.
I was like, she's an adult.
Yeah, she's not going with anyone else. She wasn't even going.
She was never going to go.
So she says yes, and it's a date. She says the words, it's a date, and that's great, and we've got to go on a shopping trip.
Can they afford this? I have no idea how much money Kathy has.
Do you know how many times Kathy says something is expensive and then continues on doing it? She's like, that's expensive. It's fine. That's expensive. That's fine. Yeah. This is expensive. So she takes him on a shopping trip where he elfs his way through the town.
Yep.
You know, hugging strangers and things, and he's getting fitted for a suit, and I just want to say I'm going to put up a clip of him getting fitted. Then we're going to put up a clip of George from George in the Jungle getting fitted for a suit.
Sure.
And I'm just, He was like one of my first puberty, this is what a man is supposed to look like that you're going to be in love with. Like for me, like he was one of my spring awakening people. Are you thinking about?
I'm trying to think of like who was mine.
I mean, it's definitely, okay, let's be very fair. It was Lance Bass that was like my spring awakening.
Gosh.
You know? And then subsequently, right after that, was also Paul McCartney, because that's when I started watching the old Beatles movies, and I thought Paul McCartney was really handsome, but it was Lance Bass. But actors-wise, Brendan Fraser was like, I thought he was everything. He was funny, he was nice, and he has that moment in the movie where she's embarrassed to dance, and he's like, there's no reason to be embarrassed. It's just George. And it's just like, oh, you don't have to be embarrassed about who you are because he's just George.
Okay, that is very sweet.
Yeah.
I want the record to show that I am firmly Team Logan, but I think for me, Dean from Gilmore Girls might have been one of my first crushes, which is just Jared Padalecki, and he is such a cutie pie. I'm doing a rewatch of Gilmore Girls right now, and I've realized that maybe I was in love with all of her boyfriends at one point anyway. So, firmly Team Logan, though.
I'm looking them all up so I can see what they look like, because I've never watched.
Dean, Jess, and Logan are the main three that we all argue about.
Oh, okay.
Jess is Milo.
It's an Edward Cullen, Jacob Black situation?
Well, no, they're all from 3 different time periods of her life. Kind of.
Oh, okay, got it.
But they're the 3 main boyfriends. Like, there's some other guys that she, like, dates, but we don't care about them.
Yes. Logan, Jess, and Dean?
Yes.
Okay, I'm looking. Oh, that's, what's his name?
Milo.
It's,
Ventimiglia?
Miglia. Ventimiglia.
I try really hard to say people's names correctly because when I'm like, Milo Vegemite.
Dude, you know me.
I know.
But I got kicked in my own tush when I said Ed Speleer, whatever, hottie from Irish Wish. Can't even say his name right now. I think it's Spleers. But I said that wrong, and I'll forever kick myself because that's my court over street. Ooh.
And I'm not even going to pretend I know how to say Logan's last name. Matt Zuchry.
Oh.
Czuchry.
Wow, yeah.
I think CZ is a sound.
Oh, okay.
Because our landlord's last name, I'm not going to say it, but has that, and it's a
Oh.
But, Logan Huntsberger.
Spring Awakenings. Oh, by the way, when Jack is getting fitted, when he's getting fitted, the tailor is wearing this jacket, and I want that jacket.
The one that he ends up putting on
at one point.
I was sad that wasn't his outfit.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I loved that jacket. I was like,
we're going to show that jacket for sure.
I want to wear that.
Yep.
And Kathy does buy Jack snowman cufflinks, which did not look expensive in my opinion.
No.
They looked quite cheap.
Yeah.
So that was fun. So it's the night of the dance. And he's watching a video about how to tie a bow tie. And she comes in a dress. It's nice. I
wrote she looks amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
This is you and me and Princess Switch again. Not Princess Switch, Christmas Prince all over again, because that was like when I was like, oh my God, in Christmas Prince 3, she looks great. And you're like, whoa, what happened to her? I was like, that's it?
I mean, yeah.
I don't know. I felt like it wasn't long enough. It wasn't short enough. It just,
okay. Yeah.
I wanted something more. Also, a wasted staircase. They have a full-on staircase, and I do understand they don't have any shots of anyone walking down said stairs, so maybe the set just didn't work that way.
Yeah.
But why do you ever put a staircase if you're not gonna have a beautiful woman walk down? I'm just
And we've
saying.
always said that.
We have.
I know.
I was like, wait, we're doing a bit? We do always say that.
No.
And he even has the moment where he's like starstruck by her.
Right.
So what's going on? And I wrote, oh my God, this dance is going to be too warm for him. I thought this is when he was going to melt. He's in a full suit. I get warm when I go to public things.
I'm warm right now.
Yeah. So even though he did watch the video on how to do a bow tie, she ties his tie.
Yep.
And he stares at her. Mm-hmm. We love a good stare. And, he asks if she remembers asking him if he bought anything else. He said, I did. And he gives her this snowflake pendant necklace.
It's huge.
It's big. It's a chonker. Though it is a singular.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's very
not
pretty.
Gaudy. It's just
delicate.
big.
It's big and delicate.
Yeah.
And he does say it is pretty expensive if you want to return it. And she's like, no, I'm keeping
Yeah.
it. Because she loves him now. And he puts it on her, and then it's like a little askew, and he fixes it. And she says thank you. They stare at each other, but they do not kiss.
Right, but he also specifies that it's a snowflake because he's a snowman.
Oh, yes.
And she says, yeah, I got that.
Snowflake because I'm a snowman. I did write that, and I skipped right over it. Next up, we're at the dance. I don't know how this man's going to make it 10 minutes. This room is packed. And there's a little snowman ice sculpture, and he's like, "Oh, look, it's me. It's not you, Jack. That's Frosty.
A round snowman, and you are
you are a cut man.
Cut snowman.
And it's cute because everybody knows him, and the kids know him, and there's like another teacher or chaperone that's there, and they know him, and they're all like, "Are you ready?" You know, and he goes to get her punch. He takes the cup of punch and splashes it on his own face. And the kid who asked out that girl earlier walks up and just goes, "You've got punch on your face." It's a good thing men don't have to wear makeup.
I know, truly.
And so they talk about how they're both nervous because they brought a date to the dance. And Jack's like, "Are you going to ask her to dance?" And he says he doesn't know how to dance with anybody. And so Jack's like, "My mustached friend taught me how to dance."
I think he called him a fashionable or like he complimented him.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. But they both walk up together to the girl and I keep calling her Lacey in my head. Kathy. I'm trying really hard to do actual
You're doing great.
Kathy.
You're doing great.
They walk up together and ask both the women to dance. And Jack kind of like gives them a few pointers as they're dancing, like how to dance. And it's funny because Jack goes, "Are we supposed to talk when we dance?" And she goes, "We don't have to, or you can join the moment or something." I went, "Oh, no, I talk incessantly."
I'm a yapper.
And if you follow Pride and Prejudice rules, they should be talking the whole time.
Even if they're too far apart to fully hear each other.
Even if like they're swishing away and you can't tell what's going on, they should have full conversation until they fall deeply in love. And we have that moment where everything's quiet. Then there's no talking. But until then, they should be yelling. They should be throwing insults the whole time. Well, it's really cute because she says, "You know, you can hold me closer." And he's like, "Well, you're giving off a lot of heat right now. I don't want to melt, but it's worth the risk." He looks so happy. And they are about to kiss. But then the music changes. And we get this like dance scene, like all the kids, and he knows their dance. Like
he's part of their little flash mob or whatever.
It reminded me of, not directly, but 13 Going on 30. It reminded me of the Thriller dance and him being like, I actually watched the scene just for fun. I was like typing it on. I went, "I'm going to watch that scene."
I love that scene. I love that movie.
I always forget that that's Mark Ruffalo.
Oh, yeah.
He's a handsome devil.
He is a handsome devil.
Really well cast for that character. Really, really well cast. So, soundtrack is poppin'. It's so good. But the ice sculpture's melting. Jack's definitely melting.
Yep.
And so she grabs him, she pulls him outside, she throws him into the snow. And he's so happy, and he's having so much fun. And she's like, "You have to be careful." And of course, he's like, "You look so beautiful." And this was my Edward Cullen moment because she's cold, and he very weirdly walks up behind her and like rubs her arms to like warm her up and is like, "Is that warming you up?" And she's like, "If you had a normal body temperature." And I was like, "Okay, Edward Cullen." Like when he touched her on the arms, I was like, "Oh, he's got vampire hands." Like, he's not going to help at all.
Vampire blood. He could have just given her his jacket.
Yeah, there seemed like there was better ways, but he would have been melting. That would have been nasty. Oh, like a sweaty jacket on a cold body.
The sensory nightmare I'm just imagining.
But so she actually goes to kiss him, and he won't kiss her.
I literally wrote, "What just happened?"
I wrote "what" in all caps. I was like, jaw drop, what just happened? He's like, "Let's get you inside." And we are all very confused.
Yep.
And she's like, "Was it something I said?" And he explains, because of course it's got to be good. It's got to be so sweet. This has been the best night of his life. but he doesn't know how much more time he has left. And even if he wants to fill every moment of it with her, he can't help but feel like he's being selfish because she knows the pain of being left behind. And the more he falls in love with her, the more he knows he would never hurt her like that.
That's great.
And then he says, sorry, I said love. It slipped out.
I was a mess. I was a mess.
I know you were a mess. I definitely had feelings. My heart was warm in a nice way, not in a melting way. And I did think it was funny. She just hugs him. She doesn't say love you back or anything, but she does say how romantic he is. And even though she's not a hugger, she's making an exception. So the movie it's wrapping up. It's time for us to get to our big conflict. The sheriff is on the warpath. And I wish I could have quoted this scene. It's only him. He's talking to himself.
Yeah.
And he's going down the street. And if you don't watch the movie for anything else other than this scene of him talking to himself, it's so worth it. The gibberish that this man says, it's amazing. But the point is, he notices an ATM machine. And he realizes the ATM has a camera on it. And so he's going to be able to see Jack. And actually what's really funny is I started watching the beginning of this over again. When she leaves her restaurant for the first time, someone's pulling money out of the ATM.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, look at them go.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Subtle foreshadowing. Mm-hmm. I wrote, and because conflicts don't matter unless everything's going well, next thing we know, we're at the diner.
Yep.
And everything's going well. The diner is packed with people. I think they're trying to imply it has a lot of the town is there in the diner.
Yeah.
And Jack is in the kitchen cooking. He's making eggnog. And he wants to go bring his eggnog out, but she's worried he's going to melt. And he's
There's like 80 fans.
Yeah. Oh, God, it's so cute. I wonder if Isaac's just like, oh, God. What is this man? Still don't trust him. But she lets him go out while she makes this speech to everybody and says, thank you for coming out. This is becoming my favorite tradition. And I wonder if, like, the tradition is new because this has started happening when she lost her husband. Like, that felt like what they were implying.
Yeah,
is that the town
like,
got together when...
to do something.
Yeah,
and,
to be with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I wonder. She just said this has become my favorite tradition. I'm like, this has to be something they started doing after her husband passed away. But of course, the fun's ruined. The sheriff comes in, and I feel bad because everyone's making fun of him, and he's taking himself so seriously. But he's like, "You guys never thank me for what I do. You just patronize me," and I was like, "Ouch." Yeah. I was like, I was making fun of you, but you have feelings, and I feel bad for you. Good character work. Good character work. But so Mr. New in town went streaking. He got caught on the ATM, and he's going to get arrested because crime doesn't take a holiday. So neither does the sheriff. Yeah. Oh, and Jack says that everyone's like, don't take him. He's different than us. Don't take him. And Jack's like, no, me saying sorry isn't enough. I broke the law, and I have to accept the consequences. I'll be fine. Oh, my God. Yeah.
Sheriff pulls out the photos, and all the women jump all over themselves to go look. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do remember that. I would just probably skipped it because I'm
never going to skip the horny women.
That's what you bring to the table.
That's what I'm going to bring to the table for this episode. I will make sure you know that the town's women are horny.
But so he takes him out, and they're yelling. They're like, he's different than us. And Kathy's like, what do you mean? And somebody, I think it's the doctor, just goes, he's a snowman that magically came to life. Everyone accepts it. And Kathy's like, you all accept this? And they're like, it's Christmas.
I'm saying that forever.
It's Christmas.
That's going to be my excuse for everything now. Anything bizarre, I'm like, I'm sorry, it's Christmas.
Also,
I don't make the rules.
They say a man that sweet's just got to be magic, don't you think? And I went, oh, what a bash to men. Like, men can't be nice unless they're magic.
Also, unless they have the mind of a baby.
Thank you. Thank you so much. But of course, so now she believes. So Jack is melting away in jail, and he's getting fingerprinted, but he has no prints. And the sheriff is like, you burned them off. And I went, yeah.
Yeah. They were just goopy and wet.
Yeah.
It was disgusting.
Gross. Like, oh, think about him touching you. Like,
somehow cold and wet. And also skin. Oh, okay.
He keeps asking the sheriff to turn the temperature down, but he won't turn it down. And he starts like interrogating him. And Kathy comes in to yell at him. And he's like, why are you interrupting this like masterful interrogation I'm doing? And she says, tell me what bail is. It's $2,000. It's a lot of money.
I don't know streaking very much. It's not like he like did it in front of people. He was alone at night and also like put clothes on very quickly in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, well, he says he's a sleeper agent.
Yeah, no, the sheriff goes a little off the rails for me here.
Yes, I agree. I mean, he's never on the rails,
No,
but
he was on a rail at one point.
yeah, he was tipping.
Yeah.
He has tipped.
He's fully tipped.
Take me out of the oven, I'm tipped.
Call me a waitress, I'm tipped.
That was good.
Merry Christmas.
So, the sheriff says you can bail him out in 2 days because she's like, I'm going to go back to the vault at the vault. It's the safe at the restaurant.
Yeah.
He's like, you can bail him out in 2 days. And she's like, no, I'm going to come back. And he's melting and he knows, we all know he's dying, and she knows he's dying. But
I wrote they cannot do this to my girl.
no, no. So he starts to say that if he doesn't make it, but then she says, save it. I'll be right back. She runs to the diner. She gets to the safe and she walks out just counting the money in front of everybody.
Crazy.
I was like, well, you trust him, I guess. And everyone wants to know what's going on. She says she doesn't have enough money for bail. The deputy comes in and she's like, you've got to help me get him out of there. And he does. He goes and he runs to the police station, but they get to the police station just as the sheriff is walking out and locking the front door. And they kind of yell at each other and, he's being unreasonable and he's guilty and la, 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 la. And she says, this is all the money that I've got. He's like, it's not enough. Naturally, the whole town comes out and they start yelling at the sheriff. And he says, my hands are tied. I can't let a suspect go free without bail. So they pull out a hat, start putting money in the hat.
I was crying.
I loved this.
I was crying.
They are, also I went, why are all these people carrying cash? But small town rules. They're $10 shy. And that kid who asked out that girl walks up and he's like, here's $10, Dad.
Plot twist.
I loved it.
Got me in the gut.
I was so there. Good writing.
Yep.
And the sheriff asks how it is that so many people decided to waste their Christmas on a guy who just got here. And they say, he's been working to make our lives better. And I'm going to totally butcher this quotation.
Okay.
But it says, a man is defined by his actions. And it's the opportunity to define yours, to have your actions
something like that.
define
Yeah,
you.
it was like
I
a man is
don't know.
defined by his, or a person is, I don't know if they said man specifically, but they were like defined by his actions. Like, now this is your chance.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
And he lets him go. We may all now
And
clap.
he lets everybody have their money back.
Oh, he does give them back, but you didn't clap. You got to. There we go. The problem is that when they get him outside and they throw him into the snow pile so he can cool down.
Oh, I was so convinced there was only going to be a scarf there. And I was freaking out that they were going to walk in and only see a scarf. And I honestly think that might have been better than what they did.
Okay, I had a theory too. So it wasn't as well. Okay, but so anyway, it's too late. Dude, he's dead. He's very dead. And they're like, save him to the doctor. And she's like, I can't resuscitate
She's like, what
a
am I
snowman.
supposed to do here?
Yeah,
She's like, I can't defibrillate a snowman.
Exactly, I can't defibrillate a snowman. And she, Kathy goes down to him, says some of the stupidest lines in my opinion.
Sure.
I know you didn't ask to come alive, but I didn't ask you to make me care either. I was like, please take that line out. Cut it. Cut the line.
Edit.
And then she's like, I'm falling in love with you. And she's crying.
I was too.
And Chelsea's crying. And the wind is blowing. But he's gone. So, of course, she's got to give him the last kiss. Goodbye. And she takes the scarf back.
Yep.
And everyone's crying. And she's leaving. But then we hear the magic music. And he's alive. And he stands up. Kathy! And they hug. And everyone cheers. And he says, I'm not dead, but I feel kind of funny. Because he's cold. Because he's a real person now.
I'm a real boy.
He says, I think this means I'm real. And they kiss again.
I think I was crying.
So, you want to know how I wanted them to end it?
Okay.
I wanted him to disappear or like die. Like I wanted him to be gone. And then I wanted like the next day a guy who looks just like him or something to show up and be new in town. I also was like, is this snowman really going to live the rest of his life? He's got no background. He's got no family. He's got no social security number. How are they going to navigate this?
I literally wrote, actually, when I thought he wasn't dead, but then he was. But I wrote, how does this work long term?
Yeah.
If he can't be inside a building.
Exactly.
But they Deus Ex Machina'd.
Yeah, the Deus Ex Snowman.
Deus Ex Snowman.
So
Literally an ex-snowman.
So Coldplay starts playing. Because they got Coldplay on this soundtrack. And the next day they're unwrapping presents. And he gives her a card that says, your second true love is you. And I was like, yay, great. And then he gives her a maintenance manual.
Yep.
And together they repair the heat. Because he can be warmed out.
Because he needs it.
He needs it. Because he's cold, because he's wrapped in the blanket. And she gives him a trip to Hawaii. And they kiss, and they go off to Hawaii, and everything is happy. What did I skip?
Did they get him an ID? How does a man with no fingerprints get on a plane?
He has nothing.
I mean, I'm guessing now that he's human, there's probably some things that they can do, but like, how do you...
The magic of Santa and Christmas.
No identification.
Like, they have to make him a whole... I wonder if there's protocol for, like, Jane Doe's to get, like... Like, if you think about it, if you wake up with amnesia, you can't tell where you are. We can't figure anything out. You've got to be able to rejoin society.
Netflix, come through.
Yeah.
What was your vision for this?
Yes, the writers.
How does he leave Hope Falls?
Springs.
Hope Springs.
Hope Springs.
Hope Springs.
Oh
you're
my
right.
God. Speaking of that song, the bloopers rolling. And Craig Robinson is singing his Hope Springs song with Joe Latrugio. And they're singing The Square, and there's bloopers. And that is the movie. That's hot. Frosty, my people. Oh, what do we rate this thing? Let's start with cheer.
Kind of chilling at about an 8.
Okay. Tell me why.
Is that too high?
No, I went higher than that.
Okay, so I initially went 9, but I got scared you were going to yell at me.
No.
Okay, I'm at a 9. I'm
Good.
not at a 10. I don't actually have a good reason now
I
that I
wrote
think
a
about
10.
it. I think I'm a 10.
Well,
I'm a 10.
okay, so I didn't have a great reason for... So the reason I went 10 is I was like, okay, can't be done with anything else.
Right.
They bake cookies. They do tree trimming. They don't do
The Christmas
Santa.
dance.
They don't do Santa.
No, we don't have Santa. They do the Christmas dance. It's very much Christmas. There's like
it just felt...
It felt like
It's
a Christmas movie.
Like, it is about Christmas.
There's magic, so even if it's not Santa, there's still Christmas magic.
And you could even say they don't have Santa, but they have Frosty the Snowman. They have, like, snowman lore. I don't know. But they have, like, snowman stuff, which could replace Santa usually, you know.
I'm comfortable moving up to a 10. I was just worried.
I was going to yell at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm a yeller.
You are a yeller, but not in a bad way. Old yeller over
I was going to
here.
say young yeller over here.
All right, I'm at a 10. What are you at? You're at a 10?
I'm at a 10.
Okay.
Oh, this movie's going to be high. Well, no, actually, I have some scores that are low.
By low, she means a 7.5.
Okay. The shades of Pemberley that polluted. So you pick what you want to do next.
Acting.
Okay, I gave it a 9.
I gave it a 9.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Why a 9?
I truly thought all of them were at their best. Like, I was really, again, when I saw the cast and I realized that, like, when I first saw, like, the previews and everything, I thought it was a movie that was going to take itself really seriously.
Yes.
And so that made me really nervous. When I saw Craig Robinson and Joe Latrugio, I was very worried that we were going to have these two amazing comedians being funny in a script that, like, maybe wasn't funny.
Yes.
I don't know why. I don't know why I thought it was going to be like
that was a concern for me, was that it was going to be, they were, I was like, this movie can only work if it's stupid.
Yes.
And not stupid. I don't think it is like throw it out the window bad.
No.
But I think it can only work if it's funny and not serious.
Yeah, like if it doesn't take it. And I think like I had the same moment you did when they ran over that hat and they were like, this isn't that story.
Yeah.
Where I was like, I think I am really going to like this.
Yes.
And I tend to, as people have noticed, I don't give Lacey the highest acting marks.
No, you don't.
And maybe some of it's unfair because I'm like, oh, Lacey.
Yeah.
But in this, there was some of the ways that she delivered her lines, or like Oh, and she was doing the really heavy parts of,
It really
I don't
got
know if
you.
I love myself, like, how do I move forward? There was just such in the same way, like, I was so into what's his butt being earnest in the last movie. Like, there was just such like an earnest heart there that I felt like I hadn't gotten from her in a long time.
Yep.
And so she really impressed me. And then I think everyone else is just a great actor. Like, I think Dustin Milligan's amazing. And I thought he did this line of himbo really well.
Yes, he did. I
Yeah.
agree with you. I love a himbo, though. I'll talk about how I feel about him.
That's fine.
In the romance.
But yeah, I went 9.
Good. Yeah, I
That
went
was
9
acting,
too.
right?
That was acting. I did 9 as well. Plot.
I also did a 9.
Yeah, you're gonna get mad at me.
It goes back to, like, have I seen a Christmas movie do this? Night Before Christmas, but I didn't love the execution the way I loved it here. And I think that's because Night Before Christmas almost felt
Too serious?
like it didn't feel as campy as this.
Yeah.
But, like, the more I linger on it, the more I think I'm going too high. So I think I'm going to go to an 8.
Okay. I did a 7.
Okay.
And for me, I felt like a lot of times I kept going, I've seen this somewhere else.
Yeah.
I've seen this joke somewhere. Like, it was good. I liked the movie. But there are movies I didn't like that I've given big plots to, like high plot score, because I was like, well, I didn't like the movie, but it's creative.
They did this.
This was a situation where I liked the movie, but did I think anything in this was unique? No. We've done it all. He didn't even get an interesting death thing. He just, oh, and I'm alive, you know? I mean, you know, so, romance. You gave it a fucking 10, didn't you?
No.
Okay, good.
No, I gave it a 9. But I also, like, the reason I couldn't give it a 10 was because the baby brain of it all. It felt too
Such a baby
creepy
brain, yeah.
to be like, I'm in.
Yeah.
But when they had the moments where he was more of a coherent person
Yeah.
and not I just learned how to breathe yesterday. I really, like, wanted them together at the end, and especially, like, when he was making the pizzas for her, and when I just was like, yeah, dude, I want you together. Like,
Yeah.
I know it's stupid and I know it's unreasonable. I know that this could never work until you felt cold, but I wanted it.
I gave it a 7.5. That's fine. I know, you're always telling me it's fine, but it was that half the movie, she's his mom.
Yeah.
Which was not romantic for me. And it's the child brain. Mm-hmm. If he had the personality more of the guy who was in Night Before Christmas, I think I would have been more okay with him, because at least Night Before Christmas, even though he's totally new to the world, at least he has a mind that could function, you know? Like, I just felt like,
I see what you mean.
I just felt like Dustin Milligan was such a child. It was too child for me. And then I was very happy when they were together. And it was really funny because I wrote down 7.5 and I thought, why am I doing 7.5? That's really low. And then I just went, I don't know, I just don't feel higher than that. And then I walked away. That was it.
I'm wondering if for season 5 we go down to 5 stars.
So I thought about that, but I think it wouldn't be
screw up our
fair.
ratings.
Yeah,
There's no
really
way.
thought about that, because we're too deep down this rabbit hole of using a 10 score when we 100% just score on a 5.
But, like, I couldn't imagine giving anything a 2, even
It
on a
feels
score
rude.
out of 5.
You know, like, we don't even give someone 5s.
Like, I feel like we would just have straight 3s happening if we had a 5 scale. So it's not that different than us hanging in the 7
lets us feel like
zone.
we're being nicer.
Well, it also, like, if something was really bad, we could be like, 4.
Yeah, we've never gone.
I know Holiday, you gave some pretty low scores too, low being somewhere in the 5 to 6. I know that there was one cheer score that really
It was low.
Yeah. So we
try.
We try.
But I did have the exact same thought. I was like, should we go to a 5 scale? And I'm like,
you're right.
but you can't.
We'd
We've
have
got
to
all
somehow,
these
we'd
other
have to
movies.
re-rate everything somehow.
And that would be a mess.
And adjust it downwards.
Yeah, we'd have to it would be a mess.
Okay, so my total score was a 9, which ironically, I initially gave it 9s down the board.
Oh, look at you go.
So my score would have been a 9, and then with the changes I made, I still ended
a
up with a
9.
9.
That's
So
wild.
fate was like, you can't change the past. And yours is an 8.375, because you gave it a 10, 9,
Yeah.
7.
She's a high baby.
8.6875.
That is surprising to me. This is, because this is the last episode of the season.
Yeah.
This is third place.
Overall of every movie we've ever done, or of the season?
For the season.
Okay, so what's above it?
What's
Round and Round and Catch Me If You Clause?
Catch Me If You Clause at 8.9375 and Round and Round at 9.5.
Deserved.
I know, Round and Round.
Even with the changes.
Highest rated movie of the entire show was in this season. But this is a high season, I mean, compared to last season. Royal Christmas Crush got a 5.625.
See, we've given 5s.
We must have.
We had to have. That's the only way. We gave it 5s and 4s. That movie, objectively, acting rough, cheer pretty good, plot boring. What am I? Why am I tearing apart another movie in the finale? Sorry, Royal Christmas Crush. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm trying to defend my choices, I suppose.
We just need to know that we're being fair about something.
Hallmark's Hanukkah movie this year is called like Leah's Christmas Gift or Christmas Wish or something. I don't know if it has the word Christmas in it, actually. Leah's Gift or something. But it is about a Jewish woman who celebrates, it's about, I think it might be a woman who celebrates Christmas joining her Jewish boyfriend's family.
Oh, okay.
And apparently it's very good.
Really?
So that's probably our Hanukkah movie for next year.
Oh.
Unless something better comes out before that. But
I wonder if it's this movie. Look at us go with the ums.
Leah's Perfect Gift.
Leah's Perfect Gift. Who's in it?
I don't know, but a lot of the reviews are like it nails interfaith relationships.
Oh.
A Jewish Leah accompanies her boyfriend to Connecticut to experience a traditional Christmas with his family. And so I would be thrilled to know if another Hanukkah movie gets the top slot next year.
It is kind of wild that a Hanukkah
Double
movie
Holiday got top slot last season, right?
Shut up. Yes, it did.
Well, we loved Chris Palaha. So sometimes it's the actors but that plot was really fun. Anyway,
Wow.
I'm totally derailing us from the fact that Hot Frosty
got third place for the season?
was also, I don't know, to quote Craig, it was almost a sleeper agent.
It was a sleeper agent. I had
movie-
low hopes for this movie. I did not think
When I first suggested it, it was almost to
be a joke, right?
be a joke on Ariel and be like, you should host this one that you're going to hate.
Yes.
And then by the end, it was like,
what?
whoa, this is so good.
Yeah. I was so impressed, and I knew right when it started. I went, uh-oh, this is going to be good. And you know, it's interesting.
It no longer has a higher score than The Godfather on Rotten Tomatoes.
I was beyond shocked that it somehow
I think that was
obtained.
a very brief blip where like not enough reviews came in. So it's like, of course, if one person gives it.
This season has now given us the top-rated movies for the entire show.
These are
These are the top 3 highest-rated movies, because we're not including Easter Under Wraps.
Wait, where does Easter Under Wraps fall?
8.75.
So it's still pretty high.
Very high. But if you take the top 3 highest movies of the entire show, like the entire show as a whole, you have Round and Round at 9.5, Catch Me If You Can 8.9, and Hot Frosty at 8.6. It beat Christmas With You, which was holding 8.6. But the thing is, Christmas With You got 8.62, and this got 8.68.
That'll do it.
Christmas With You got knocked out. I mean, we never talk about that movie except to say that it's the best
so
movie.
good.
It's really funny.
I do recommend it. When people ask me for like Christmas movies on Netflix, I recommend that one all the time.
It's a good point. If anybody asked me, I could just go to the ratings tree.
Does that just exist in our drive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need to start just making that public.
It's worth it. I mean, absolutely.
Chelsea's definitive list of Christmas movies.
Yeah, we could do little reels on each one.
Dang. Oh. Another season come to a close.
Oh my goodness.
I'm a little emotional.
Really?
I really loved this season.
This was a really good season. Even with our technical difficulties and the new space figuring out.
Yeah, but I just like all the films we picked, just all of them kind of meant something because like the Christmas Prince stuff and Dog Walker's Christmas were like really early in our journey of Christmas movies. So like and Christmas Wedding Planner, like being able to kind of go back.
That's a good point.
But also like really looking, like guess to the past but forward with like all the 2023 movies.
Yeah, we did more new movies.
We pulled in a lot of
Good stuff.
good stuff.
Yeah, that's such a good point. Our banter was on point.
Yeah, we were on fire.
Yeah, we've had some good times.
I've laughed openly.
And I'm really excited about our next endeavor.
Yes, which we'll somehow plug. Maybe we'll make a reel or something.
Yeah, you guys will hear about it.
Yeah.
But we haven't
Come
figured out...
January, which is very close.
Yeah.
Oh,
We haven't figured out a name for it is the problem.
We were supposed to do that today, but it's already 3:11.
Shut up, it's 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
We've been here since 10.
Yeah.
That's funny. Well, we'll
Poor
do it. We
Miranda.
are recording the Men I Would Marry in 10 Days bonus episodes. We'll do it then.
That's true.
Yeah. Or we'll
Could
just talk
also
about
have
it
a
while we're
Zoom.
breaking down. Oh, yeah, we could talk to each other outside of being here to record, like friends.
Like we're not teachers who are only at a school. I guess I'm supposed to take us out. I'm delaying the inevitable, and that's my fault. But I do have things to get done today. Okay, I will try to link this sweatshirt if it exists because I did find it on.
Oh, move your mic out of the way a little bit.
Oh, could no one read this the whole time?
I don't think they could read it.
Dang it! Well, it was just for me. Well, this says Save the Small Town Bakery. There is a couple on TikTok that make videos kind of making fun of, or like, making fun of sounds harsh, but doing like the tropes of like going to a Christmas tree farm or like, I haven't seen you since high school. How the heck have you been?
Yeah.
We're in love now. Like they've been doing like that. And the husband was wearing this shirt at one point in one of the videos, and everyone was like, we need this.
Yep, it's a
and so they
great
did
shirt.
a merch drop,
I like
but I
the
think it was limited.
I like the color a lot.
Me
I
too.
have a sweater in that color, and it's really good.
do have a
It's one of my faves.
Yeah, but
Except it keeps getting oil
Save the
stains
Small
on it.
Town Bakery, baby. I'm so sad. I was like, this was so purposeful too. That's okay. All right. Well, guys, we did it again. I just want to say, no matter who you are, no matter where you are, no matter what day it is, no matter what time it is, no matter what month it is, I hope you have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Good job.
I'm gonna
That was
cry.
good. I know.
I'm
You're
gonna
such
cry,
a
I think.
crier.
Uh-oh.